learning to reflect back, that active listening is a very valuable tool that will help your older adult parent feel heard and feel understood, even if you can't change things for them the way they would like to have them be. If they feel heard and understood, they're much more likely to be willing to do whatever has to be done. And also convey respect. That seems like it should go without saying, but I think our culture is really into sarcasm and all kinds of subtle put-downs. And I think if we treat each other with a little greater respect, that also helps too. We don't want to talk down to our parents like they're little kids. That's so humiliating. It's demeaning for anyone. So you want to try to remember that you want to have a conversation as much as with an equal as possible. Treating your parent as an equal, not like a little child who just doesn't know what's good for them. That's not going to help your cause any. It's not going to help you help them. When you meet resistance, and no matter how skillful you are at coming alongside, it seems like eventually we always meet some resistance. Empathy is the only effective response. You can try, but I can guarantee you it will probably fail if you use logic, persuasion, or any of those kind of things that seem like they ought to make good sense. You know, don't even worry about making good sense. All you want to do when you meet resistance is try to empathize. Try to understand. Put yourself in their shoes. Look at it through their eyes and try to verbalize that position. And that's going to help more than anything else. Throw logic and persuasion out the window because they just won't work. Okay, we're going to go on to that next of the 4 secrets. On the top right, I want you to draw in any way, shape, or form a balance scale. You know, like the attorneys have, the lawyers. Draw a scale. And that's going to represent the kind of balance we're looking for when we're evaluating safety and independence. You know, many times, and it's not always true, but usually it's the caregiver who wants to weigh the scale more heavily on the side of safety. We want to know our parents are safe, no matter what. And it's the parent, almost invariably, who wants the scale to be heavy on the side of independence. They're not too worried about safety. They want their independence. And so it's trying to find that balance between safety and independence. You're constantly doing that when you're working with an older adult. It's a lot like when you handed the keys to your 16-year-old to drive the car alone for the first time. It kind of brings up those same feelings, don't you think, when you're working with an older adult who may be in a situation you don't think is completely safe. I had a friend just the other night who said to me, we were having dinner, and she said, my mom took the access bus to the mall. I said, fantastic, that's great. She goes, what's great about it? What's great about it? She's never done that before. She can't see. I thought, oh, that's funny. 2 ways of looking at the same thing, you know. I was thinking of her mom, oh, she's finally being more independent because she usually is at home kind of depressed and never goes anywhere unless her daughter takes her. I was thought, oh, wonderful. But her daughter was scared to death. What will happen? She'll never find her way back home. It was a classic example of that balance between safety and independence. Also, with older adults, sometimes we have to point out that we're balancing expectations and desires versus reality. You know, sometimes it's not realistic to be driving the car anymore. And those are really hard issues. And I have a whole talk I like to give about driving. Driving is a tough issue. One question I often coach people to use is, to the older adults, say, who would you trust to tell you when it's time to stop driving? And one day I was saying that, I had a husband and wife there, and he said, well, not her. I trust my doctor. Now my dad, when I asked him that question, he said, well, your mom will let me know. Don't worry. So everybody has a little different answer, but it's a good question to ask. Who would you trust to tell you? And again, you may find someone who just that question stirs up some resistance. Well, that's never going to happen. Well, who knows? Maybe, maybe not. We sure hope not. But it could. All right, let's see. We're going to go on. Don't turn the page. I'm turning the page. When we're balancing safety and independence, one thing we want to think about is controlling change versus crisis-induced change. Many, many times, probably most of the time,